Okay, just getting situated here. My name's Naomi Hoffman, and this is my project proposal presentation for project management. I'm going to start off with talking about my motivation behind this project proposal and the scope of it, and then the feasibility. I apologize in advance for my low energy. I'm actually dealing with the flu right now. So if you wonder why I don't sound like I'm feeling so good, it's true. So this is a couple of ladies that have survived some natural disasters. On the left, you'll see Sarah Kress, who just survived Hurricane Harvey, and she's a longtime Houston resident, so she's seen other hurricanes like Hurricane Rita and Hurricane Ike, and she we'll talk about what she said in a little bit, but she talks about her experience with seeing the floodwaters towards her, getting closer to her house. This is Darlene Simmons here on the right, and she got a knock one night from a police officer saying she had to flee out of her home immediately. She was able to quickly grab her medications and address book, but that was it. And on the drive away from her home, she heard propane tanks blowing up and her whole house consumed by fire. And that was a wildfire that caused that. So this is what Sarah Kress says about Hurricane Harvey. She says, "We didn't put together a kit of any kind. We didn't put together a bag of essential items. That was something that I'm very upset with myself that I didn't do. We should have had pet carriers out. We should have had a to-go kit, for them too. We didn't have our phones in plastic bags, so they were in our pockets when we were walking through the water. And I didn't realize how deep the water is, so our phones were dead by the time we got to a safe place." So even though Sarah Kress has experienced other hurricanes, she still wasn't as prepared as she would have liked to be for this recent hurricane that just happened. And this is just a picture of some of the flooding that Hurricane Harvey created in Houston. Here's an image of Hurricane Irma coming towards Florida. And this is just a shake map depiction of Mexico City earthquake that injured thousands and killed over 300 so far that we know. That happened earlier this month. And this is a picture of the Eagle Creek fire near where I live. And this fire had people evacuate immediately to avoid the fire. This is a rescuer rescuing someone that didn't have very much time to get anything ready before the floods came to her house. And it's estimated that 80% of Americans live in counties that have been hit with a weather-related disaster since 2007. So more often than not, you will experience a natural disaster in your lifetime. And surprisingly, only 65% of Americans do not have adequate plans and supplies for a disaster. So in order to combat this statistic, I decided that we need to implement an emergency preparedness fair, or disaster preparedness fair, you could call it, to help Americans be ready for the next disaster in their area. This would be a local fair in the community that we live in. Um, the location needs to be determined. It could be at an expo center. It could be in a parking lot in a visible area that people have easy access to, and an area that they are aware where it's located, like a community center or even a fairgrounds, depending on the time of year. A date and time need to be set. It should be like a weekend type of thing, like a Saturday and Sunday. And that way, if people can't make it to the Saturday, it can come Sunday and vice versa. For all the amount of time put in to the setup and the vendors and the booths, it would be a lot better if it was more than just a day event. And we also need to do advertisement for this disaster preparedness fair. The advertisement will be through radio, newspaper, message boards at libraries, even grocery stores, community centers, parks, and also even door to door in some neighborhoods that are zoned for more of a adversely affected in a natural disaster or emergency kind of thing, as well as neighborhoods that are have high poverty. So the people there probably have a harder time knowing about this event that's going on. This event will consist of an open house style, so people can just come in, come out during between different hours. There'll be booths and vendors set up that have expertise in emergency preparedness. Booths like EMT professionals that can talk about getting certified for CPR training. Um, Things like a ham radio expert talking about how to get your ham radio license. Um, Different vendors that sell emergency preparedness type of things, and even have workshops and classes that people can attend, that will have like a limit number, but workshops and classes like how to prepare a 72-hour kit, even having government officials possibly um, talk about different litigation that could help prevent um, catastrophic things in the community by upgrading infrastructure, and also possibility of having survivors of different natural disasters come and talk about how they prepared or how they wish they would have prepared for the event. We're definitely going to need volunteers for this event. We're going to need volunteers for manning the doors. Security personnel needs to be there, and as well as janitorial staff or volunteers to make sure that the bathrooms on location are hygienic. Also volunteers for advertising, setting up the flyers, putting them together, as well as scripts for, radio and that kind of thing. We predict that there will be around 3,000 people in attendance, 3 to 5,000 people in attendance for this event, this fair. So it needs to be a big enough space for that many people to come, depending on the 2 different days. The project will be a success in our opinion, our team's opinion, if that many people do come, and there'll be a survey conducted where people just fill out a quick, few question thing that they can put in a box on their way out that asks, how competent they feel about the next emergency that might take place or natural disaster, and if they're, going to get, a kit, prepared, and, just different things like that. So we can see how much it motivated people to action. And the project will also be a success if it helps increase civic participation for litigating leaders, to increase resources to mitigate improvements, to reduce catastrophic results from natural disasters. And yeah, so we'll know if it's a success also, like I said, about the survey responses, if they're positive from the event. And those will be collected at the end of the event. And the event will be, or the project will be completed after cleanup is done from the fair, and the surveys are calculated and categorized and shown to everyone that was part of the project. We have 4 weeks for it and to get this project on board, so the advertisement needs to start right away. We know we have the right team because we are passionate about this topic. We have the drive, the connections to have this fair up and running for August time. We have the budget to pull this event off because of the sponsorship of local Red Cross chapter and churches and the Chamber of Commerce, and the local hospital and city council. Our budget is $3,500, and we know it's enough to make this fair a success. If there is any leftover money at the end of it all, we'll move it to an account to use for future emergency preparedness fair. So that is my presentation for the project proposal. If you have any questions, just please write them below in the discussion board. And I look forward to working with you all. And that is that. And let me see if I can close this out. All right. Have a great day. Bye.